Are diving into a story today. It's a crime. But it's not your typical, art heist or bank robbery. No, this is something else entirely.
Oh yeah.
This took place in South Africa. And the target, well, it was a bridge, a whole 23-meter long steel bridge, like the kind you drive over, just poof, gone.
Entire bridge.
An entire bridge, just completely vanished. Imagine that. You're living in a community, you use this bridge every day, and then one morning it's just not there anymore.
Wow. You're kidding. That's insane. I mean, how do you even start to wrap your head around that? It's not like someone swiped a diamond or emptied a vault.
Right. I mean, it's not just the inconvenience, it's the absurdity of it. Like, where did it go?
It really makes you question, like, what's even possible?
Yeah.
The scale of this thing. It has to be like a massive operation. This wasn't just some quick smash and grab.
Exactly. This was planned. This was a whole production. And I can only imagine what the police must have thought when this was first reported. Like, is there even a protocol for a missing bridge?
I mean, honestly, where do you even begin with an investigation like that? You've got your missing persons cases, your stolen goods, but a whole bridge, that's a new one.
Yeah, it really highlights, I think, how our systems are kind of designed for the expected, But when something truly out of the ordinary happens, it throws everything for a loop.
Absolutely.
Luckily, though, luckily, might not be the right word, but there was a clue. They found a trail of bolts and metal scraps leading away from where the bridge used to be.
So it wasn't beamed up by aliens or anything?
No alien abduction here. It was definitely taken apart, dismantled piece by piece.
Okay. But still, how do you even do that without anyone noticing? A 23-meter bridge?
Yeah.
It's got to take some time.
And that's where things get even weirder. Witnesses actually reported seeing guys, dressed up as construction workers working on the bridge for a few nights before it disappeared.
See, that's clever, I guess, in a very messed up kind of way.
Yeah.
Like playing on people's assumptions. People see construction, they think, oh, road work, maintenance, whatever. It's almost like they use that normalcy as camouflage.
It's deceptive, right?
Yeah.
And so brazen, just out there in the open, pretending to be doing legitimate work.
It's a bit unsettling, honestly. How much of what we see every day is actually what we think it is.
Right. It really makes you think. And get this, the whole reason behind this crazy scheme, all this effort, it wasn't some political statement or a treasure hunt or anything like that. It seems like they just wanted to sell the steel for scrap metal.
Really? That's it. For scrap metal, it's kind of disappointing in a way. For all that effort just to scrap it.
I know, right? It makes you wonder about the priorities here. Like an entire bridge connecting communities reduced to just its material worth.
And what's even more concerning is it seems like this kind of thing it's not unique. I mean, our research shows that similar bridge thefts have happened in other places too, like Kenya, Nigeria, Russia.
Seriously.
It points to maybe a larger trend that some criminals see infrastructure, even big infrastructure, as just a commodity.
Wow. That's pretty bleak, actually. But back to our South African bridge bandits. They did eventually get caught. 3 guys running a scrap metal business. And get this, their reaction when they got busted is almost comical.
Oh, how so?
They basically just denied everything. Like, bridge? What bridge? As if this massive piece of infrastructure hadn't just vanished into thin air.
Seriously. I mean, that's either a truly astounding level of denial or maybe just sheer panic, grasping at straws.
And their attempts to hide their crime weren't exactly master criminal level either. The police found the entire bridge, all the steel they'd taken apart, just sitting in their warehouse.
I know. Talk about not covering your tracks. It's like they went through all that trouble and then just thought, oh, best place to hide this right here in our warehouse.
It's mind-boggling, right? The audacity of the theft versus the almost amateur way they handled the aftermath. You'd think if you're going to steal a bridge, you might have a slightly better plan for what to do with it.
And he has to imagine the police must have just been like, well, that was easy. Case closed. I mean, it's not every day you find a missing bridge just hanging out in a warehouse.
Right. But while it might seem funny to us now, it's important to remember that this was a real event that impacted a real community.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, sure, they eventually got a new bridge, but imagine the disruption to people's lives, the feeling of unease. It's not just about the physical structure. It's about the disruption of normalcy.
Totally. Like one day you're driving over this bridge, the next it's just gone. It's got to mess with your sense of reality a little bit.
And the violation of trust. It's like you rely on these structures, you take them for granted, and then something like this happens and it makes you question everything.
It's a wild story, isn't it? Like a bridge just disappears, and not because of some natural disaster or anything, but because someone decided to steal it and sell it for scrap.
And it makes you wonder, right? Like, what else is possible? What other things that we consider permanent fixtures in our lives could just vanish one day?
That's a pretty unsettling thought, but it definitely makes you think about the world in a different way, doesn't it?
It does. And maybe that's the takeaway here. Like, even in a world where bridges can get stolen, there's still a lot of mystery and unexpected things out there. It's a reminder to never take anything for granted.
Absolutely.
Well, on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dives.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Until next time.